Hey there, it's Brittany, and I am back with another large hole bead tutorial. You guys really loved the leather bracelets that I did maybe a month or two ago. And here's an example of one. I did not make this one on a video, but this is one of the techniques that I used in that video. And these beads are all from Beauty and the Bead Shop, and I'm going to show you how to make a new bracelet. If you guys already got some of the large hole beads, or if you were still on the fence, go grab them because we're going to make a new bracelet. But this was, I want to say picture jasper and then some of their large hole copper beads. And I can't remember if the leather was from their shop, but they do have quite an assortment of leather. So we're going to be making an easy leather bracelet today. I made 3 men's style bracelets last time. This one's going to be a little bit more feminine. I don't know that it's actually a women's bracelet, but you know, whatever. You can do it in whatever colors you want. I am going to be using this turquoise leather. I believe I did get this from Beauty and the Bead Shop. And I'm going to be using some Amazonite this time. Surprise, surprise. I wanted like a tone on tone. I actually made this bracelet in amethyst and I really want to show it to you, but I lost it. Like I lost every single one of those bracelets, and so they must all be together. I've been looking all day, which led to me cleaning my bead room quite a bit. Not enough, but quite a bit. And I'm hoping to one day unearth these beads because I can't find them. But I'm going to show you really quickly a few of the large hole strands that they have. We have Tiger Eye, which is super masculine, but I love it for myself with more neutral colors. I can't remember if this is moss or tree agate. I'll put the right name below, but isn't that gorgeous? I actually kind of want to use that, but you can make this bracelet in any color. You're just going to need one color of large hole beads. These are 8mm. You're going to need some large hole metal beads, which I'll just show you in a minute. I want to say this one's onyx, so just flat black. This one's lace agate. We used that in, I think, one of the bracelets that I made last month. We have crystal quartz, which it's really hard for me not to use the crystal quartz. And I made so many of these bracelets because I was so excited about them. And who knows where they are? Like, they're in my house, but I've looked everywhere, even in my own jewelry, and that's organized everywhere. But my bead room and my clay room are organized, so I don't know where they are. I will put the name of this one below. I don't remember which one it is, but it's super beautiful dark green. 2 different blues. I believe this one's lapis and this one's sodalite. They're very similar though. So if you're a blue person, that's for you. We have blue Tiger Eye, which is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. This is great for men's bracelets too. And then we had like a dyed Tiger Eye with like red and regular brown on one strand. And then that dragon blood. So I used the dragon blood last month. Here's the rest of that strand. Absolutely stunning. So I'll leave a link to Beauty and the Bead Shop and all their large hole beads. And if you're interested, you can get 30% off of your first 2 orders from them. So this is like the time to buy. And then I'm going to be using these large hole beads. So I'll also large hole metal beads. I'll also include a link to their large hole metal beads. Just some really cute little large hole antique brass beads. So, and then you'll need a button of some sort. I think I'm just going to use this little ohm symbol button today because it's what I had on my desk. And then I'm also pulling out my vintage patina paints. And I'm just using some like little lighter blue, a turquoise, and 2 purples. I don't know which ones exactly I'm going to use today, but I wanted to just touch, like, hit the ridges of these beads with some paint. So I have a paintbrush. My fingers want to be one of my tools. I have a paper towel and a little bit of water next to me. I'm going to put my stone beads and my leather far away from me so I don't get any paint on those. And I just have one of these little dishes that I'm going to put my little paint in. I don't even remember how many of these I need, so I'm just going to kind of paint a few of them and then get going from there. I'm going to start with the verdigris color. If these are sold out, these are they don't make these anymore. But Vintage does have other metal paints that they have that are very similar. You can check out their website. So a little goes a long way with this stuff. I'm just going to put a couple drops of the verdigris in. You can use a head pin, whatever you want to hold your bead. I might use tweezers. I don't know if I have tweezers. So what I'm going to use is this bracelet buddy. I'm just going to pick up the bead like this and hold on to it. And I'm going to take my finger and just kind of hit the bead where I want it. And I'm taking some off as I put it on with my other finger. So I'm putting it on with this finger, taking it off with that one, because I don't really want like huge spots of turquoise on there. And then you can just take a sanding block or whatever you want to take off even more. This looks good with these beads. I'm gonna also hit a little bit after I do most of the turquoise or the verdigris or whatever we're calling this color. I'm gonna hit it with this marine. I don't think I am gonna put purple in here because like I said, I want it to be a little bit tone on tone. So I'm just going to put that bead aside. I'm gonna do several other beads and then I'll come back. Okay, I actually ended up mixing the verdigris and the marine a little bit more because this was just a little too bright. So it toned it down a little bit more in the tone of the Amazonite. I am going to take my leather and I'm probably going to do like 2 yards. I probably don't even need 2 yards, but I'm the person who will cut not enough and then I'll cry later. So we're just gonna cut 2 yards at least. And then I'm gonna find my button and string that on and move it to the middle. And this project's so easy. We're not even knotting onto the button. We're just going to slide on one of our metal beads. Okay, and then we're going to take our other leather and come through that metal bead the other way. And then slide that bead down to our button. Okay, just making sure that that button stays in the middle and that we have the same amount of leather on both sides. And this is what it should look like. And look how great that color matching was. It's like the same color as the leather. Sorry about paint all over my fingers, but we're gonna have to deal with that for the rest of this video. So that's how we're locking our leather in place on our button, okay? Then we're gonna open up our bead strand. And you're welcome to tape this down, put it on your Knotty Do-It-All, your macrame board, whatever you need to do it on, but we're not macrameing, we're not knotting at all until the end of the bracelet, so I don't think it's necessary for you to do all that, but if you want it to just stay in place, you can tie that button down any way you'd like. I'm just taking all the beads off because I want to go after the more blue ones for the most part. All right, so I'm going to find my 2 ends of my wire and I'm going to slide on 4 beads, 2 on either side, and I said wire, but I meant leather. So 1, and then 1 and 2, and we'll move those down all the way. Okay, so we have our 4 here up against our little metal bead, and then we'll do that exact same thing with the next metal bead. So put it on one side, grab the other length of leather, put it through, and we'll move that down. All right, so I have my 4 beads, and then you tighten, and then you have a little cluster, a little flower. So I'm going to do that several times. I'm just going to do that till the bracelet is the length that I want. So I'll put on another 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll put on my metal bead on both lengths of the leather. bracelet's gonna work up pretty quickly. And again, no glue. You're gonna have to tie like maybe one knot at the end of the bracelet. So it's going to be something that you can benefit from because it's a quicker bracelet. It still looks very involved, and you can, if you use higher grade materials like these with the gemstones and the painted metal beads, or however, whatever beads you want to use, you're going to make back your money because if you're selling them, because you're not using a whole ton of time to make this, even though it's a more intricate looking bracelet. So I'm gonna go ahead and work the rest of this up, and then I'll show you the finish. Okay, I had just enough of all the green, blue, Amazonite that I needed. These are the leftover pieces. And then I actually made one extra one, so I used 11 of these metal beads, and I did a little bit of a chain look at the end to get it to be as long as I need it. And see, like, this is all the leftover leather that I'll be using on other projects. But so you didn't need 2 yards. I had made this, I think, about 7 or 8 inches. Let's see how long it is. Yeah, about 7 inches. And let's see how much leather I have left. Not that I measured how much I had in the first place. I used 2 arm lengths. 6. Oh yeah, I would say 1 yard would probably be enough on this, but all right. So what I'm gonna do here is create a knot. We don't need a knot here because the bead is holding the leather in place. We're gonna do a knot, overhand knot at the end, so we can make our closure. And before I tighten that as far as it needs to go, or as tight as it needs to go, I'm gonna slip my button through and tighten the knot up against that button to make sure that there's enough room for it to go through my leather. So we'll just keep that in place and then keep tightening. And if you want, you can put a leather here, or a knot there, but I think that'll make it a little chunkier and you don't really need it. But if you want it, totally acceptable. All right, and then we'll put our button through. Perfect fit. It's so cute. And then I think I'm gonna take a couple of these. Slide it down. And then do another knot here. You can just use a metal bead there, whatever large hole bead you have. That'll fit over this. I think this is 1.5 millimeter leather. Okay, I'll trim that off. Do the same thing here. Pull tight. And there you go. Oh my gosh, it worked up like 20 minutes, less than. It's just, the painting was probably the thing that took the longest on these beads. So if you go with gold or silver or antique brass without paint, it'll be even faster. Here's the bracelet on. My favorite colors. Looks so good. You can wear a top, depending on what kind of button you use, you can wear the button on the top to be part of your design. I did make, the purple one I made was a little too loose, so I purposefully made this one snug because over time that leather's probably gonna settle in and grow a little bit more. And I didn't want a super loose bracelet. So this is perfect. It's absolutely stunning. Great for layering. So think about all the different gemstones they have in this shape and size, and have fun with it. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Goldie, and you can get 30% off your first and second orders, or you can use the coupon twice using coupon code discount30 at Beauty and the Bead Shop. Let me know what you think. If you want to see more large hole videos, let me know, and let me know what else you'd like to see. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. I'm editing the video you just watched and she's sleeping, but she has to be touching me no matter what. And so she's got her foot on my leg, her butt on my leg, and her foot on my iPad while I'm editing the video. Daily occurrence. This is all the time. I'll move her off of me and she'll somehow just get back in the exact same position. Right? You're my shadow, right?